What is up? Welcome back to the channel. This week we have yet another exciting interview. This is one of the interviews that I took at the Vue.js Amsterdam conference about 2 weeks ago. The ones that I announced in the last video. So this is a collaboration with the Vue.js Amsterdam conference and the Front-End Developer Love organization. Front-End Developer Love organization. Yes, I need to say this correctly, because these guys did me a huge favor. I was able to use their studio and sound booth to do these interviews. So, let's get to it. Today's interview is with Natalia from the Vue.js core team in Gitlab. Those are two very highly sought after jobs, and we discuss on how she actually landed those. Especially interesting is Gitlab and their hiring process. They have some amazing processes to vet people and to figure out if they fit the company. I'm super interested in this. Natalia is humble and kind, and she goes in depth on her philosophy for life and how she is so successful at her age and all the stuff she did. This one is only 20 minutes, so it's pretty short, but we go in depth and it's super cool. So, no excuses, because this one is short. You better finish it. Let's go.
Hello Natalia, what's up?
Hi team, everything is fine, my talk is finished, so I'm pretty happy.
Exactly, I was just gonna say, you walked off stage and we grabbed you. Here you are. So, this is a question I always ask. Can you say your name the way it's supposed to be said?
This is so funny, because every single time I'm speaking, any English speaker is just screwing my name so badly.
Exactly.
Because this is Russian, so I pronounce it Natalia Tepluhina.
Okay.
Can you repeat?
Can you say it one more time?
Natalia Tepluhina.
Natalia Tepluhina.
Oh, you do better than English speakers, so.
I'm not an English speaker, so
Probably
but
that's
I have colleagues that are also from Ukraine, and they say, no, it's Natalia. This is another thing, right?
Oh, it depends, because we have two different forms of the name, like Natalia and Natalia, and this is like every single time person is trying to pronounce it wrongly.
Oh no, they're trying.
Yeah, they do.
So, we established you are Ukrainian, but you work at Gitlab and it's remote.
Yes, it's full remote company.
So you work with all these people from all over the world. So does your culture or their culture, does it have some interferences sometimes, or is it actually smooth sailing, or did you conquer of how complex it is and you're actually fine? Can you explain a bit?
So yeah, we have employees, I think, all over the world, 60 countries or something like this. And GitLab really tries to make it all smooth as much as possible, because we have nicely written rules for this. But of course, if you have your own culture, you have different cultures dealing with you, you have some issues. And one of the very typical issue for Eastern European cultures, I think it comes from our education system. Because when you have, let's say, an essay, your teacher will mark only bad parts of it with a red pen. I call it red pen syndrome.
Okay.
So I'm working for GitLab, so I'm reviewing lots of merge requests. We call them merge requests, not pull requests.
I saw you noticing merge requests.
GitLab stuff, yeah. And when you're Eastern European, it's really hard to switch the pattern from this red pen thing. Because when you're reviewing a merge request, you need to notice good parts. You need to praise people because they did really good job. They deliver a feature. And then you can say, okay, this might be changed. What do you think about the change, whatever else? But your inner Ukrainian, inner Eastern European person says, oh, this is bad. This should be changed. Just rewrite this thing, and you need to deal with this.
But is it done, and the stuff you don't mention is by default good?
Yes.
Is that the approach?
Exactly.
Okay.
This is actually the red pen syndrome. So what I didn't mention is good. Rest, like what I mentioned, is bad, and we consider this like a really good review, because I did try. I actually read the code and I said, okay, you need to rewrite these things. But this is very toxic if we think about it.
Okay.
Imagine you're reviewed by Ukrainian, and you did some really beautiful code there, but it's not noticed.
Okay.
It's like they say, this is bad, this is bad, this is very bad, thanks, bye.
Well, to my culture, that's totally fine, but I'm guessing to others, not so much.
If you consider like American developers, they usually really praise you, and this is really nice from them. It's a great feeling when they say, oh, this is a good code, I really like this is beautiful. and you feel encouraged. Even then, they say, okay, this part is probably not the best. What do you think about rewriting this and this way? And you're like, yeah, completely fine. It's justified.
So if you moved to, let's say, New York to work at some agency, and you would have your yearly review, they would give you 5 good things and maybe 1 bad. You would consider yourself a rock star because they didn't even say anything bad about you, right?
Yes,
And you
exactly.
expect the red pen syndrome.
Yes, and I expect like I should like scolded for everything, and then
Yes.
I say, but okay, we will promote you because this one little thing was really good.
Yeah, I love this kind of stuff, and I have this in my daily job, and we notice this all the time, and you have to be so careful because you can hurt people,
Yes, exactly.
right? So you are remote. So did you choose to do that, or was it kind of forced on you because you joined GitLab, or how does that? How
No,
did that
no,
happen?
I did work remotely even before GitLab.
Okay.
And I believe in remote culture as future, because I think we waste so much time like commuting, especially in Kyiv. If you work in city center and you live outside of the city center, it could be like 3-4 hours per day, like half of my working day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I did work remotely before, but there was a difference because what I realized at GitLab, to have a successful remote company, you actually need a culture and you need processes. You need a really good defined processes to manage the company.
Okay. So what I've noticed, I've done a lot of remote stuff too. Not personally me, but we're working with people, let's say, in Kiev that are there, and we work with them. What we do, however, we do meet them like 2 or 3 times a year, and we spend 2 weeks together. And in those 2 weeks, we almost do more than in the whole year. So there is something to be said for co-location. So how do you think about that?
So yes, first of all, I agree that sometimes you really need to like gather and work. But first of all, we have the same. We have an event called GitLab Contribute.
Okay.
It actually will happen in March. It's like every 9 months, I believe, we gather the whole company. And this is a lot of people right now.
Yeah, so how many? Do you know?
Right now it's 1,200, I believe.
It's amazing.
Like not everyone is going to contribute, but still sometimes we can't fit one hotel.
So you're completely decentralized, and you have so many people.
Yes.
That's great.
Exactly. And the second part is GitLab also thinks that being completely remote, not contacting other developers from your team or other teams is not that productive. That's why we have kind of thing that we call travel grants. You can travel where you have colleagues, and GitLab will reimburse your travel if you
Wow.
work together with them.
Oh, that's great. So I spoke to you quite a bit, and also our mutual friend Nicolo, like on how you got hired there, because he's a recent hire, and he was like really full of it, like, wow, I had to do all those things, and I love it. And so, do you know something about the hiring process at GitLab, and can you tell maybe something about it?
Yes, actually, the whole first of all, a whole hiring process is described in our handbook, and our handbook is completely open to the world. We're all transparent. If you want, you can just search for GitLab handbook, and this is like, I think, 200 pages of different
It's
information.
like the manifest of this is GitLab.
Yes,
That-
like
okay.
all the processes, values, like benefits, whatever else, like everything we do, we try to keep it public. Sometimes we have really weird issues about this, but probably we will speak about it a bit later. And hiring process is described there as well. Usually we have some kind of an assessment sent to people, then screening interview, technical and behavioral interviews. And as I was hired, this was a really funny story because I resisted for so long to be hired.
You resisted.
I resisted.
They asked you.
Yes,
Ah.
it was actually Filipa. You probably know her. She's well-established Vue speaker as well. And it was at Vue London 2018, so not recent Vue London, but last year's one. And she was like, why are you not applying to GitLab? I was working with Angular at this moment. I work and contributing to Vue, so kind of like torn between 2 frameworks. She was like, why not apply? Like, oh my God, you have like 5 interviews. And also, I didn't feel qualified enough to join GitLab. It's like a famous company. And she was like, just apply. And she was trying to convince me for like 2 months about this. Like, be my referral, like, just apply and everything gonna be fine. But I was like, this is so scary. I hate interview process in general. I think sometimes it's really stressful and not related to your actual work, like whiteboard interviews.
Exactly.
But At the end, I applied, and this was so fast for me. I think I was the fastest hire for Gitlab. At least I was told this.
Wow.
It was in 8 days.
So you did 5 interviews in 8 days.
Yes, and what was really nice, every single interview was ended with like, okay, you passed this stage. We will like schedule the next.
So they
step.
knew immediately if you passed.
Yes,
someone.
I didn't.
Oh, this is cool.
I didn't need to wait. I know this is not often the case because right now we have more people in the process and we need like more delays sometimes. But at the moment I was hired, it was like really, really fast, and the technical interview was no stress at all. Surprisingly,
Wow.
it was so relaxed and nice. I was live coding, and when you do live coding, you always fail. You probably know this
Yes.
when you try to do this. No matters if it's just a manager interviewing you or you're on stage, you're going to fail because this is a stress. But it was so nice and relaxed. I've done everything from the first try.
Nice. So you did really well there. But then, what was the most challenging one?
I think the most challenging one was not technical, it was behavioral interview. Because when you're working with a remote team, the most important part is not hard skills. Because you can teach people how to code, right? Soft skills are really important. The thing is mattering. It's like this should be soft skills. Because if you speak with a person and you see like they might be not a good fit, probably they won't be a good fit. One more thing about interview process, like every single stage has decision like no, yes, and strong yes. And
Okay.
to pass, you need at least one strong yes. So if 4 people said yes to you, but this is not strong, you're not going to pass.
Oh, that's great.
This is something that you should click. Not
So
with
it's kind of one of the tasks you do or you're more special at, and then you might get a hard yes, and that's easier
yes,
to pass.
yes. If it's technical, it might be a strong yes on your tech skills. It's behavioral, might be a strong yes on your soft skills, and soft skills matter.
Okay, this is great. Thanks. I think we should all use this because I'm hiring a lot of people and I don't have that process. But to me, the first talk is always: do you fit? Can you speak? And can you write? Just write one paragraph. Because then if you're remote, it's much easier.
Exactly,
Right?
you need communication. This
Exactly.
is way more important than technical skills you just have right now.
It's funny. My whole talk in this conference was about this.
I know,
Yeah,
I've
this is
been there.
So another one. When you look at your Twitter and your GitLab feed, and it all looks amazing. It's like, to me, whatever you touch is gold. But that's really, it's rarely true. There's always some stuff that's like, oh, maybe this didn't work or something in life happened. But you curate what goes out. But what are the things that you didn't post that actually helped you to be better at other things? Do you have some of those?
Yes, I have. I think I had even few cases. Like, first of all, when I joined GitLab and I was working for like 2 months, there was a lot of stress for me because you're slightly changing your approach, company culture, like working for product. It was my first product company after being in the agency. It was outsourced previously. And I was so stressed. I actually had high anxiety. I even tweeted about this. So my Twitter is...
I remember this.
It's not
because
only-
It was after the conference we attended together.
Yes,
I remember this.
exactly.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm so stressed. And the funny thing, I had a talk about this with my manager because he already also reads my Twitter.
Yes, that's nice actually.
And what could you expect? Like, if the manager is bad, they will probably consider, okay, you have anxiety, we might have some performance issues due to this. This is bad. But no, this wasn't the case. When we were speaking, he said, like, absolutely golden rule for me. We are not running a sprint. We're running a marathon. So everything is fine. If something slipped, it's fine as well. What matters is how do you feel?
Yeah.
If you have an anxiety, you can just take a few days off, just relax, and we will keep in touch on this. And I actually overcame this really fast because my actual work didn't put any stress on me. Like, you do what you do, everything is good. If something
great.
slipped, we can manage it.
So basically they trust you,
Yes,
and this is one of the key aspects of being a good manager, I guess.
exactly. If you trust people, everything gonna be good.
Okay. That's very important for listeners or viewers to know, because you are like this up there and you have the same things as everybody has.
Of
I've
course.
had this many times, so it's great that everybody has this stuff. So it's
Of
important
course.
to point it out. So this is a question I ask all the time. It's kind of a funny one. So do you have something that you're like good at or an expert at that nobody really knows about?
Yes, I was a hardcore World of Warcraft player for like 8 years. Was playing in top 1 Russian guild, and I'm really good at this. I was a top healer. I was always trying to top any kind of raids as a healer. And it's funny thing because second heal, not even second, like my competing healer at the same guild was a person who now is my husband, who we met in World of Warcraft.
This is awesome. So World of Warcraft now, I know they re-released some stuff, but do you think everybody still knows what this is, this game? Is it still famous now? Or do we maybe need to explain what a yield is and what a healer is? And
I believe like healer is very well known pattern, even if
Okay.
you didn't play World of Warcraft, and it's pretty famous even right now.
yes.
I mean, when I said about World of Warcraft in United States, I was speaking about it from stage.
Oh, cool.
I immediately had a question from the audience really loud, like Horde or Alliance?
Oh, this is cool. So it's like really a thing that people care about.
Still, yeah.
So what I played is Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2.
Oh my god, this is old school.
And then Warcraft 3 came and it was too hard for me because it became online. I just couldn't do it. And then World of Warcraft, maybe I'm a bit older than you, but for me it didn't resonate. It didn't play it. But then I saw a guitar and I only did that. So that's the problem. But so how did you meet your husband exactly? Were you like destroying him or was he working with you or how did that happen?
So, in fact, if you play World of Warcraft, you need to collaborate with people. You cannot just compete with them. So we are collaborating, but we were also trying to like be a top one still.
Okay.
So it was like kind of mix of competition and collaboration. And yeah.
But was he in the same country as you?
No, he's actually from Russia.
Okay.
So he did move to Ukraine
Ah, so he moved to...
back then, yeah.
And do you still play?
I think I don't. I quit at Worlds of Draenor. It was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And he's still playing sometimes, but not that hardcore anymore.
No, because it takes a lot of time, I can imagine.
Oh, yes, it's like you quit World of Warcraft and you become really good in JavaScript. It's a secret of a good career.
Well, you see a lot of people who are actually now a developer that did other computer-related creative things. Because probably your mind forms a certain way. Because for you it probably helped, I'm not sure, but do you think so?
I think it helped in a way, like when I'm doing something, it doesn't matter if it's a game or if it's like coding, I'm really trying to dive deep, understand everything, like reading guides, just trying to be the best at what I'm doing, like really, at least really good at it. And this behavior really helps when you're coding because you still feel like my code is not good enough.
You feel that?
I feel this every single day. And
Because when you were teaching me GraphQL, I felt that all the time. My code then.
but I believe like if you look at your own code that you wrote like 2 years ago, and if you think, oh, this is really good, this is not a good sign.
No.
You stopped progressing, right?
Yeah.
Because code is aging as well.
Sure.
Evan said this during his talk, and
Yeah.
it's true. Code is aging, and you were not that proficient as you're right now. So I believe like every single piece of code I'm writing right now is not perfect as well.
Exactly. So the funny thing is, we are in a Vue conference. We didn't even talk about the fact you're in the Vue core team. That's like here, you were like this awesome person at the core team, and we just talk about GitLab. So quick on that. How did you get that job?
First of all, it's not a job. You're not paid for this. And
Okay,
And
it's a
there-
privilege. Is that it?
it's
Or what do you think?
it's more like free stuff you need to do for free, but no pressure. It's like Evan is really nice about this. When
Okay.
remember his talk when he's like, "Oh, we should have documentation ready by then," and I'm sitting like third row, like, "Thanks, Evan, no pressure."
Yeah, because actually you do documentation stuff,
Yes,
right?
I do documentation stuff mostly. I contribute to Vue CLI, Vue Apollo, and I did some contributions to Vue 3 as well, mostly like reporting and fixing some small bugs. Because when
Okay.
you write documentation,
You
you
find
find
it, right?
lots of bugs.
Oh, that's cool.
Exactly, you try to document things because nothing is perfect, as we just said. So yeah, but how did I get there? I was contributing to Vue and Vue documentation in particular for a long time, and I was also communicating with Vue team, mostly with Docs team because I was contributing there. And it happens like when you do this for a long time, people start taking you as a core member, even if you're not a core member. For me, it happened at, I think, JS Heroes conference in Romania when actually MC introduced me as a core member, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not.
So you just organically became one.
Yes, and then it's just the formal stuff. Everyone takes you as a core member, then you just add it to the GitHub repositories, and everyone's like, oh, I thought you already were a member.
Well, that usually means you did something well. Like if I want to like go up in my job, I just do that job that I want to do for a while.
Exactly.
And at one point they cannot mistake you for it. You are doing it. That should be the way to go, I would say.
I think this is the
Yeah.
way to go for any job. You're just taking responsibilities, and if you start managing a team at some point, because you have a few people, you need to manage it to deliver some stuff. Eventually, you become a manager.
Yeah, it's gonna
that's
happen.
that's what I do. What you're doing, right?
What I do now is I actually don't write as much code anymore, but I get my strength in front of a client from having written the code and manage it, so I can actually answer the questions. So now I'm feeling a little bit angsty because I haven't written as much. So I do more projects now to learn more. But yeah, I get 2 jobs. But that's the way to be the best in my case, because I want to be confident about it.
Yes,
Right.
that's true.
So we're almost at the end. I'm just looking at the time. So there's the one question I ask everybody at the end. So let's say you have a billboard and like millions of people a day see it because it's like on a highway or something. What would you put on it?
I would say the road of 1,000 li starts with the first step. This is like all Chinese wording, and it means just if you want to achieve anything, just start doing this, do baby steps. Just continue doing this, and eventually you will achieve what you want to achieve.
But that also means you have to have persistence.
Yes, exactly, because nothing is just coming to you from out of nowhere. It's exactly the case when people ask me like, oh, how did you achieve this? I've been working on this for a long time. And eventually I'm here.
Exactly. Okay, one last one. So in all these conferences where you go, it's a lot lately. What do you do with all the stickers?
I consider stickers to be like a speaker's currency. You can exchange the best ones.
Okay.
You can like trade them, and then you can put the best ones you find on your laptop.
Okay, so not like me. This one has to get full. So what is your best one?
I really like, oh my god, this is going to be really fancy because I have 2 favorite ones. One is an octocat from GitHub. I'm ashamed saying this, but
Really? A GitHub sticker?
yes, this is Ada Lovelace octocat. And I think this is absolutely amazing for me because first of all, it's a first woman programmer and it kind of represents who I am as well.
That's cool.
And second one, this shows a perfect balance even if you work for Gitlab. You're using GitHub and it's like when you use frameworks, for some reason people assume if you work for GitLab, you hate GitHub and vice versa. If you work on Vue core team, you should hate React. I don't. I really like all the frameworks like React, Angular, whatever else.
Well, they all have their place, obviously.
Yes, exactly. And this shows a balance.
Yeah.
And my second favorite sticker is actually placed inside the laptop. It's like there. And it's really funny. It says, employees must wash hands after using JavaScript.
Oh, it's perfect. That's very good. But it's a big sticker, I guess.
Yes, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's kind of not public because, well, we are in the JavaScript community. It could be taken wrong.
Oh, this is great. Thanks so much for your time, Natalia.
Thank
This
you
is
for
great.
interviewing.